Okay, let's see if we can do this. Hi everybody. Okay, let's get set up here. I am doing a surprise live. And let me just see if I can get out of this here. Okay, so I decided to just do a live. And what I'm doing now is I created a small class for doing a very simple pocket mini album. Something like this. It's really cute, and it's a pocket album. Hold about 12 to 15 pictures, and it's really nice thing to give as a Christmas gift. So because I have a regular class for this item, I'm not going to do a live for that. I'm going to do something that's a little bit more advanced because a lot of my customers are a little more advanced than the basic. So I made this, well actually I'm not going to do the box in the class itself, but I made this as size up. You know, this is also a very small mini album that you can do in just a couple hours. And it's a 6x6, actually 6¼ by 6¼. And it holds quite a few photos. As you can see, it has a flap here, and the whole thing flaps down again. It has a pocket, and it has a waterfall here. So there are quite a few interactive items on this one, and then you turn it around and you have exactly the same setup on the other side. So I thought that would be a fun project to do, and I'm going to do another one using Stamperia's collection for Christmas. And I figured, why not do it live? And you can follow me or watch it later and do it yourself. And maybe learn a couple of things. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm going to be using Stamperia's Classic Christmas collection. And we're going to need about 6 sheets of 12 by 12. So even if you don't have this particular collection, any 6 pages that are 12 by 12 will do. And if you don't have 12 by 12, you're going to need a total of 24 6 by 6. So if you have 6 by 6 or 8 by 8 or any size paper that you have at home, you can use that instead. And you can also find scrapbook paper in your local Michael's or Joann's or wherever you buy it from. Okay. Another thing that you can do is, instead of doing a double like I did, because I did the same thing on both sides, you can just do a single side or just part of it, and it's still going to be a very nice gift to give. So it is very flexible. Okay, I'm going to switch over to my overview with the other camera so you can see better what I'm doing. Okay, and while I get this set up, and I just want to see that my view is okay and it's not upside down. Okay. No, it is upside down. Let me turn it around. All right, I think this should be okay now. Okay, so here's my paper trimmer, and if you don't have a paper trimmer, that's okay. Just grab a blade and a ruler or scissors, that's fine. go ahead and pick out your paper. I'm gonna open it up and take my 6 sheets. Okay, I like the Stamperia paper. That's really, really beautiful and vintage-like. And it has a lot of things that we can cut out. Okay, so I'm gonna pick this and this. This one too. I'm gonna keep this on the side if I want to decorate with that later. 1, 2, 3. Let's take this one, 4. Okay, the question is, do I want this or do I want the gingerbread? I think it's so pretty that I really don't like cutting into it. Okay, which one? I'll take the gingerbread. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. I need one more. I'll take this one. I don't know if I'll use this side, but this side is kind of cool. I can also use this one instead. It's the green. Okay. The first thing that I'm gonna do is trim this to 6 by 6s. That's the size that I'm working with. Because we need 24 6 by 6. All right. I got my pattern paper all ready. Okay, and then we're going to take some heavy cardstock. This is I think 110 pound or 100 pound cardstock. Again, you can find it at any craft store. If you don't have cardstock, you can use Bristol paper or any kind of paper that you have at home that's cardstock. Okay, let's be. And another thing that we're gonna do is take a mat board. This is a thin mat board and flexible. I did not go for the heavy chipboard. It's a small album, you don't really need it. And you need 1 square of 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. And alternate for this is, you know, if you have from boxes or anything, you know, the back of pads, anything that's a little heavy and doesn't bend that easy. Okay, so this is basically what we're gonna need, and I'm gonna put my trimmer on the side and we're going to cut those other pieces as we go along. Okay, so let's put this on the side for now. And this is my scoreboard. I can put that aside. Okay, let's start with the basic, which is the base. Whenever you do an album, you always need one piece that will be the base that everything is built upon. So my heavy mat board is going to be my base, which is 6 1/4 by 6 1/4, and I need to trim about an inch around from, take a cardstock and trim it to be about an inch around it. This is a little over an inch, it's fine. And I'm going to mat this on top of the cardstock, just with glue. Make sure you put the glue around the edges and then a little bit in the middle. You don't need a lot. Okay, and then just try to fold it a little bit just to give it direction. So later when you put the glue, it's just easier to fold. If you have a bone tool or anything that's flat, you can use that. Just makes the fold nicer and cleaner. Okay, now let's take our scissors and we're going to trim the corners out. We're not going to do it all the way to the edge over here. We're going to leave a little bit of the paper on the side, about 1/4 inch, 1/8 of an inch. You don't need more than that, as long as it doesn't go all the way to the corner, because then it'll leave the corner exposed and we don't want that. Okay, now we're gonna glue to opposite sides. Make sure it adheres well. And now we'll do the corners. We're going to tuck the corner down. Okay, tuck the corner down. And then fold it onto itself, like that. Okay, so the corners are folded onto themselves. You're gonna do them both sides. And tuck it in. So this will make sure that the corners are covered properly and secure. Okay. All right, this is our base. And now just to make it nice and clean, I am going to take a piece of cardstock and trim it to about 6 1/8 by 6 1/8. Okay. This is 6 1/8 by 6 1/8. And I'm going to put this right over the center of the other side, of the back side. Notice I'm not drowning the paper with glue. It's not necessary. Okay, so I have my base, and now I'm going to go ahead and cut some flaps. Put this back in. Okay. I'm going to cut one piece at 6 1/4 by 7 and one piece at 6 1/4 by 6 5/8. That's my 6 1/4 by 7. That's my 6 1/4 by 6 5/8. So you're going to have two pieces, one that is slightly longer than the other one. I'm sorry, 6 7/8. 6 1/4 by 6 7/8. 6 1/4 by 6 7/8. A little shorter than 7. I knew I didn't do something wrong here. Yeah. Okay, so there's a difference of 1/4 inch between the two. So for each side, you're gonna need that. I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut the pieces for the other side as well, since I'm doing that already. Okay, 1 7 and one at 6 5/8. 6 7/8. I keep doing that. Okay. I'll keep this aside. That's for the second side. Okay, now I want to make a belt. And my belt will be 8 1/2 by 2 1/4. So we're gonna need one for each side. 2 1/4. Okay, two pieces of 2 1/4 by 8 1/2. Keep one for this side, one for the other side. Okay, now we're going to do cuts for the flaps. I think that will be the waterfall, and we need 10 pieces of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm taking 3 sheets of cardstock. Now they're 8.5 by 11. So I made the size of 4.5, 4.25 by 5.5 because each one of those cut to four of those. So I'm cutting this to 4.25. Okay, I removed one out and I have 5. Cut this at 5.5. So I have 5 for each side. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5.5 by 4.25. Okay. Okay, and then we're gonna do 2 pocket flaps that are 5 1/8 by 4 1/4 and 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. How about we'll leave this on the side for now. Let me see, 4 1/2 by 5 1/4. Five 1/4 by 4 1/2. Okay, I have 2 of those. Okay, pockets. 7 1/4 by 3 1/2. We need 2. So I have 2 sheets here of some leftovers from my cutouts. And I'm going to cut, I need 4 of them for the 2 sides. 7 1/4 by 3 1/2. That's my 3 1/2. And that's my 7 1/4. I think that eventually I'm going to need them at 7 and not 7 1/4. We're going to make the final adjustment before we place it on the actual place, but it's not going to be more than that. So for now, I'm trimming it at 7 1/4. And we're going to make the final adjustment later. So I need 2 for this side and 2 for the other side. Okay. And let me see, 2 flaps. Last thing we have is flaps. 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 again, and we're gonna need a sheet for the flap. So we have 2 flaps on each side. That's 4. Again, the 8 1/2 by 11. Oi, I did 5 1/2 on this side, wrong side. Sorry. I am not the kind of person to walk and chew gum at the same time, and when I talk, I always make mistakes. Okay, 4 1/4. By 5 1/2. These are my 2 flaps for this side and my 2 flaps for this side. Okay, I think I have enough to start with. Let's put the cutter on the side. And we're going to start by building one side. Okay, So let's take my scoreboard. If you don't have a scoreboard, that's okay. You can make do with something else that you have at home. You know, just take like a dull knife, you know, one of those dinner knives that will not cut paper if you go over it, and a soft surface. With a ruler, you know, you just put it over a surface, take a ruler, take the knife and score like that. And it'll do the job just fine. Okay. My first piece, that's my 7 by 6 1/4. Okay, let's take my scoring tool. And where's my other scoring tool? And we're going to score this one twice. I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch and at 3/4 inch. And I'm going to use this one to just give it a little more definition and show you. So I scored it twice at 1/2 inch and at 3/4 inch, and I created a double score. And when you fold it twice, you're going to have sort of a little raised flap. Okay. So this is going to be my top flap, and it's going to cover everything underneath it. And the reason that I do it that way, and I'll show you on the other album. Okay, this is it. So it covers all these things underneath it. Okay, and it's going to allow a buildup of photographs that you put there. So that's my first flap. My second flap, it's going to be scored at 1/2 inch and at 5/8. So it's the same principle, except that now the height that I'm giving it is only 1/8 inch and not 1/4 inch. Okay. Okay, that's the two that I have. Now I have a belt, and the belt is the part that will cover everything together like that. I have a magnet here, but you can put a ribbon, or you can put Velcro, or you can put something else to keep it closed. Okay, that's my belt. So I have this at 2.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to go ahead and score it at 1 5/8. This is 1 5/8, and at 2 1/4. No, I'm sorry. I did 5/8 again. It should be 7/8. See, I always mix the two. 1 7/8 and 2 1/4. So it's like 2 inches minus 1/8 inch, right? And then a 2 1/4. So that gives me a return of 3/8 right there. 3/8. Okay, this will be my belt. Okay, now let's go for the flaps. And I need 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. And I'm going to score it 1/2 inch on the 4 1/4 inch side. So after I score it 1/2 inch, the height of it will be 3 3/4. Do it this way. Okay, like that, along the 4 1/4 inch side. And when it's folded, it looks like that. And we're gonna need 5 of them. Let's go ahead and score 5. Always be careful when you're handling such heavy paper with your hands like that. When you slide your hand over, be careful because you can cut yourself pretty seriously. And you don't want to do that. Okay, I'm just making sure that my fold is strong. I'm using my bone tool for that. And again, you can use any type of item that you have that is flat and not going to tear the paper. Like you can use this, you can use a credit card, you can use a knife. Okay. Okay, so I have 5 of these. All right, now I have to make a side flap, which we can make a flap, a pocket flap. I call it. Okay, and this is what we're gonna do. We have 2 pieces. All right, let me just take one here. That are 5 1/4 by 4 1/4. Okay. 2 pieces that are 5 1/4 by 4 1/4. I'm going to take one okay, and no, this one I don't need 5 1/4 by 4 1/4. I'm sorry. I think I need, yeah, I need this one to be 5 1/4 by 4 3/4. Right. Okay. 5 1/4 by 4 1/4, one piece, and one is 5 1/4 by 4 3/4. And we're going to be doing 2 score lines on this one and one on this one. So on the 5 1/4 and 4 1/4, I'm going to score 1/2 inch along the 5 1/4 side. And on the 5 1/4 by 4 3/4, I'm going to score twice, 1/2 inch on each side. So So I do 1/2 inch here and 1/2 inch on either side. So what I'm getting is one piece like this and one flap like that. And I'm going to be attaching this one on top of the other flap, okay? I'm going to show it to you now so that there are no, you don't have to remember later what we've done. So I have this piece with 2 flaps, one on each side. You will be taking the glue onto the outer part. Okay. And you have a flap here. So this wing here will be on the bottom. And you will be attaching this on both sides like that. Now this is the side where the flap is. You see there's a little opening here. Just put a little glue from side to side, not a lot, just a little bit to seal that opening. And what you'll get is you get the little pocket, and when we'll attach it as a flap, it'll be a pocket flap. We'll put something in there. Okay. Okay, so last things that I want to do is take my last 2 pieces that I cut that are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And score 1/2 inch on either side. I'm sorry, on one side. Just create a flap. Okay. So the parts for the first side are ready, and I'm going to go over them with the measurements again. First flap that we cut is 6 1/4 by 7, and we scored it at 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch to get a return that's 1/4 inch wide. Okay. This will go on top here. Let's take it and glue it. And we're going to glue it on the top of the base that we created. Just want to make sure that it's nice and straight. Okay. So this will be my top. The belt will go on the bottom opposite. So if I glue this on the top, I'm going to glue the belt on the bottom. And I have to glue it somewhere in the middle. and I'm gonna put glue on over the whole entire area here, but not on the fold. It's gonna stop right there where the fold is. Okay. And you wanna mark, or either eyeball or mark where the center is. I'm using a grid mat, so I know where my center is according to the grid mat. I'm just making sure that I don't have any air pockets there. Okay, so you're gonna be gluing it like that so that you have that 3/8 of an inch return on this side right there. Now you take the second large flap that you cut, that is 6 1/4 by 6 7/8, and you scored it at 1/2 and at 5/8 of an inch. And we're gonna be gluing it. You know, you'll decide if you want it on the right or if you want it on the left. You know, it's really up to you which side you want it done. You can do one side like this, one side like that. It's really up to you. Okay. So how about I'll do this one on the left. The other album I've done it opening on the right. I can change it up a little bit. And I'll do this one on the left. And put it right there on the left edge. And just make sure that you're not going to go over the fold line, because if you go over the fold line, this will have a hard time folding properly. Another thing that you can do is always trim the edges a little bit in a diagonal, and I'll show you when we glue this thing. You can take your scissors and you can trim it in a little bit of a diagonal like that. And I'm going to put this one on the opposite, on the right side, again in the center, or you can put it a little bit even to the bottom. Maybe we'll do it on the bottom. I'm just changing it up a little bit. I'll put this on the bottom. I just don't want it over, you know, over the fold again. So here's my opening. Remember the pocket that we made? This is the opening and this is the flap. Okay, now we're going to take those 5 flaps that we cut. These are the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. We cut 5 of them and we scored them 1/2 inch on the top. And we're going to start assembling them from the top where that big flap is, and it will cascade down. So you put the first one as far to the right as possible without interrupting the movement of the flap. You take the next one and put it right underneath it within 1/2 inch distance. And you put it right under 1/2 inch. You make sure it's nice and straight. Make sure it's aligned with the rest of your composition there. Okay. So I'll get it closer to you and show you how it's done. The top flap, if you can see, it is very close to the fold, but not over it. So it still allows a nice free movement of the top flap. And then the second one is within 1/2 inch distance. So wherever this wing ends, this is where the next flap begins. Okay, so when they fold down, you're gonna have them cascading here. And you're gonna do the same thing to all 5. You don't have to put 5. You can, you know, if you don't have enough paper, you can use 3, you know. I recommend either 3 or 5, because 2 or 4 are an even number, and we usually don't like to do even numbers when we design scrapbook albums. It's usually an odd number. Okay, and one more thing that I might recommend is, you know, if you have double score tape, instead of using liquid glue, that is a better option. I'm not using it now, frankly, because I'm doing live and I want it to be faster. And using regular glue is just faster. Okay. So here we have a cascading waterfall. And again, they're sticking up a little bit because I'm using 100-pound paper, weight paper, and not 65-pound paper, which you can do. It's fine. So this is it. This page is done with the construction. Okay. We're going to have the pocket flap close first, and then the side, then the top, and then the belt. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and prepare the magnet before I put the pattern paper, because I tend to forget to put it down, and I don't really want to forget doing that. Okay, so I'm taking my 2 magnets. And one will go here. I put it in the center of the belt. Now I'm taking my double side tape and I'm going to put it over another piece of double side tape. Oops, where did it go? It just flew away. Okay. It happens sometimes. I'll find it. Here you go. Okay, here we go. If you don't have a magnet, that's fine, you know, just leave this out, and at the end when you finish, you can put a Velcro. All right. Now let's take the other 2 flaps. Oh, forgot this one have to go on the flap. flap first and then put this down. Okay, here we go. Now we have it. All right, now the second one is going to be here. Okay. Now this step right here that I'm gonna do, I just like to cut the corners and make them either triangular or round. Okay. Just cut all the corners off of all the flaps. And also, I'm gonna trim the corner of the belt. Okay. Let's take some paper and we're going to start applying the paper down. So we want to do a little bit of color blocking, which means we don't want to put red on red on red. We want to put either red on green or have a white in between. So I'm going to just separate them to colors. And also, you have to pick what you want to be in the front. So I like this one. Maybe this, or the other side, or this. Yeah, it's the same thing. Or we can do this as well. Kind of fun. Okay, we can do something fun here. Maybe this one, Season's Greeting, right in the center. And now we're going to cut the pattern paper the same size as the flaps that we have, minus 1/4 inch. So those flaps that we made are 5.5 by 4 1/4. These will be 4 by 4 3/4. I'm going to use my small trimmer. 4 by 4 3/4. Now I can cut another 1/4 inch. That's good. Okay, that's kind of interesting right there. And let's take my scissors and trim the edges. And this will go on top here. Now what I like doing is covering the edges with a little bit of ink. I don't like my edges white. It also gives it a little bit of a vintage look. So I use brown ink to cover the edges. Okay. We can use maybe this one going along lengthwise for the belt. Okay, so let's use this piece of paper for the belt. And I need 1 1/4. We're gonna need 2 of them. Right, no, sorry, 1 3/4. This is small, or 2. Let me just measure. We did this is 2 1/4. So we need 2. We needed 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, this is good. 2 by 6. This is a little more narrow. I'm just going to use the top for now, and I'm going to leave the bottom because I might use a remnant for something else there. Okay. Now let's pick what we want to put here. So over here, maybe we'll do this one. Yes, I like that. So this is a 6 by 6. and put it in the middle, leaving a frame around of about 1/8 of an inch to show the cardstock. Okay, so my front is done. I like that. This is how it's going to look when it's closed. Now let's go inside and decorate the inside of it. Okay, as you open, you flip it open this way. What do you see? Okay. Make sure you leave enough paper on the side for the other side, right? Because it has two sides. So what do I see? Maybe I see this. This is pretty. Now over here we're going to have a pocket. And over here we're going to have a pocket. And I think this will be nice for a pocket because I can cut it in two. Okay, so this will be for this area here for the pocket. Yes, I like that. Okay, guys, let's do pockets. Remember, we cut 2 pieces for the pockets, but we haven't done them yet. Okay. So here we are. The pockets are 7 1/4 by 6 by 3 1/2. So we usually cut it about 1/2 inch longer on each side that we want the pocket. So if the pocket is going to be 6 inches, the total of the paper that we cut will be 7 inches because we're going to cut 1/2 inch on each side. Okay. But I did 7 1/4 because I might lose a little bit with the folds. So this is where the 7 1/4 comes. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and score it, and I will make adjustments if I need. So I'm scoring it on each side 1/2 inch, and then on the long side again 1/2 inch. So I scored it 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and I'm going to trim the edges exactly where the 2 lines meet and fold. So once we glue those 3 flaps down, I have this side open and it'll be a pocket. I'm gonna do the other one. Now the side part, I might need to do it a little bit shorter because this is where it folds down. Here I can put it up a little bit and it should not interrupt, but here, because it goes sideways, I want to do it a 1/4 inch shorter. So I don't think I just dropped my piece of paper. So I'm gonna go pick it up. Okay. So this will be, this pocket will be cut at 7 by 3 1/2 and not at 7 1/2 by 3 1/2. Okay, so this is 7. Let me trim 1/4 inch off it. So now this is 7 by 3 1/2. I'm scoring again 1/2 inch here and 1/2 inch here and 1/2 inch here. Okay, so this I'm going to put on the side, and I'm going to leave a little bit of a distance here, and I want about 1/4 of an inch there. And the top pocket I'm going to put right here with a little bit of distance from the bottom. Okay, the pattern paper that I'm going to put over the pocket is going to be 1/4 inch less than 3 because I want to leave the borders. So I'm going to trim it at 2 3/4. Let me just clean up here a little bit. Okay. So this is what I want to use for the pocket. And I'm going to trim it at 2 3/4. And this will be for the top. Okay, and I think this might look nice for the other part. Why not? Okay. I'm gonna take this piece of paper and cut it at 2 3/4. This will be here. This can be here, this can be here, right? Or I can just do it this way. Okay, let's put these together. That's 2. Okay. I'm going to put this over the first pocket. And I'm going to put this on the bottom of the other pocket. Oh, I forgot to measure it first. Remember, I cut the black cardstock, but I did not cut the pattern paper. So let me just cut it now. If you see a little bit of the glue on it, it's fine. It dries clear. Shouldn't be a problem, but you can also wipe it because it's water soluble. So we can wipe the excess off a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Okay, now this we'll put on the top of the flap there. And I always put the piece that goes under the pocket first, and then I apply the pocket. Okay, put glue on the 3 wings. And put it over there like that. Now later you can use, you know, the piece that you took off and put it here if you want. If you want to make it nice and straight, you can do that. Okay, let's do the other one. So this pocket will fit just right from side to side. It fits exactly right from side to side. Just check that it doesn't interrupt the movement, and I think I want to move it maybe a little bit more to the top, just a smidgen. Okay, that's great. Okay, so we have the 2 large flaps done. On the inside, I have the 2 pockets. Okay, now we're going to do the waterfall. And we're going to only do the front. There's no need to do the back, because usually in the back people like to put photographs in there. So we're just going to do the front. We have to do 5, and then we have to do a 6th one on the bottom. Maybe this will fit perfectly here. So maybe I'm just gonna leave it here like that. I like this. It will continue the theme of this here for the bottom. I like that there. So over here I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there will be 5 1/4 by 3 by 3 1/2. 5 1/4 by 3 1/2. Yes. Or because we're using a 6 by 6 and we want to preserve paper, I'm going to do a little trick. I'm going to do the 5 1/4 by 3, not by 3 1/2, because if I do by 3, I can do 2 pieces for each 6 by 6 sheet. And then on the bottom, I'm going to do something else, and I'll show you what I mean over here. Okay, so this is the waterfall, and you'll see here that I have one pattern paper here and then another one here. So all these 5 strips are of the same pattern, but the one they attach to is different. And that just helps me preserve paper, so I don't have to waste more paper than necessary. Okay, so I need to find one sheet that I want it to be my main feature over here. And maybe this could be cute. Can do the cookies, it can be cute. Oh, this one will be nice. This one will be very nice, but I only need, if I'm doing 5, I need 2.5 inch wide. It only need to be 2.5 inch wide. So maybe I'll do this one. I like this one. Okay. So we're going to cut this to 3 inches by 6. And if I trim it in the center, I have 2 pieces that are 3 by 6. And this will be my main one. I'm putting it on the side. Okay, now I need 2 more. And I'm going to try to find one that is, that looks good on both sides. So how about we'll do this one. And one, 2, and this one. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need another one. Oh, I have this one. Forgot I have this one. So I did this one already. Maybe I'll check another one. I don't want 2 of the same. We'll do the green. Okay. Yes, I'll do the green. So I don't think I'll use this side because here the little elements are cut out. So I'll do 2 from this side. But here, I want to make sure that I'm cutting lengthwise to the right size, because you don't want to lay it like that so that the trees are going sideways. You want to make sure that it's this way, right? So I'm going to trim it halfway here. And this one doesn't make a difference. Okay, so I have my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I will put, I think, the green one first. Okay, so I have a 3 inches, and then I need to trim it to 5 1/4. Let's mark the 5 1/4 mark here. Okay, 3 by 5 1/4, and I have 5 of them. I'll ink the edges. Put this closer to me. Just to show you the difference between one that is with inked edges and one without. See, I like this one a lot more. It gives it nice definition, a nice finish. It's an extra step and it takes longer, but the results are nicer. And the ink I'm using, it's Distress Ink by Ranger Tim Holtz. And this palette has 4 colors, and I'm using Ground Espresso. That's the color of the ink that I'm using. So I use Ground Espresso whenever I'm using, you know, darker shades of paper. It gives it more definition. If I'm using lighter, one more pastel-y, I may go to Vintage Photo. It's a softer brown. That's Vintage Photo right there. So you see the difference. And this is Black Suit, so you have more black here, and this is more gray. Okay, so we're gonna put these all the way to the top, and it will leave about 1/2 inch on the bottom for the other strip that we're going to be using. Okay, so here to show you how it looks. See, we're going to leave a 1/2 inch here. We still left a little bit on the corner, on the top over there, about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, this one is a little crooked. Never mind. It is crooked a little bit. Okay, so we're going to trim this at 5 1/4. Okay, and now we're going to cut it in strips of 1/2 inch. And I need 5. And I'm just gonna make sure that I have them in the correct order. One, 2. 3. 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm going to trim the edges a little bit because it needs to sit right there, like that. That's why am I holding the glue for? I don't need to glue it yet. Now if I want to put it this here, like that, or like that. Okay. Okay, let's glue them on. And make sure you're gluing them in order. Or you will lose the effect of the consequencing. Oh, that's how you say it? Consequence? Sequence, sorry. It was the sequence of them. Okay. Here we go. And let's glue this on the bottom. And when you put this down, you're going to be covering all of the hinges where they are attached. Here, here, and here. So I know the width of this is 6 inches. And it is 6 inches by 4. Okay. You can go back later if you have leftover paper, and you can cover the edges too if you want. Okay, for now I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, now let's do the pocket. Try to see what we haven't used. So for the pocket, we need 2 pieces that are about 4.5 inches by 4 by 4.5, and we need 2. So 4 by 4.5, we're going to need 2 sheets. And this is kind of fun. This fun, and this is fun. Okay, so it's the same one. I'm just going to use 2 sides. So this is the view. So I need the long side to be 4.5, and the short side to be 4. Okay. That's cute. I like this. It's kind of fun. This is pretty. So I have like greetings right here in the center, and I have this on top. I like it like that. Now over here, if you have time and you want to be more creative, you can do some fun decorating here. Maybe do some fussy cutting, or do this pocket with transparent. There are a lot of things that you can do. I'm just showing you the basic. Okay. Lovely. Okay, so this one is done. This is done. So now all we need to do is put something in the back here and over here. So this will look really good here. And I can use this and do like Christmas greetings. Or this, and it will show the tag. That's also nice. Oh, but it's the wrong side. I think it's actually supposed to look like that. This is also pretty like that. Or this one. The poinsettia. It'll tie together with this here. Okay, I think I'll do this. And I need one for the other side here. And I'll do this on the other side. Okay. Okay, by 4. Okay, good. Lovely. So this will be here. And then I put another one there. I'll do this one on this side, I think. Put this at 4. And 3/4 right there. Okay, you can see exactly the greeting. Cheery Christmas greetings. Ha! That was lucky. That was really lucky. Okay, and then we put this one there. Oh, I can put this here too. Which one do you like more? Maybe we'll do this one. It's just a continuation of this paper, right? I didn't plan on it, but now that I see it, I think I like this side better. I like polka dots. A lot of people don't like it. I love polka dots. Beautiful. Okay, so I think this side is finished, except for this here. Okay, and I want to add a tag for the pocket. So let's do the tag. And I think that for the tag I need something that's like 4 by 5. So this is 5.5. It's just a remnant that I have, so it's a little tough to put it in. Sometimes it gets stuck there. So I'm just gonna make it a little bit maybe more narrow, and this is a little too long. It's okay. I'm going to trim the corners because I don't want them to get ruined. I think this is good. You know, if you have die cut machine, you can make this one interesting a little bit, maybe something fun. So let's see what I want to put there. I can put this. I'm just going to my remnants, yeah? I'm going to use one of my remnants for this here. I think I'll use this one here. Ooh, this is fun. And this is fun. Yeah, you can just look at your remnants and see what you have. Christmas greetings. The green. The green can be nice on one side. As you open it up, you'll see the green here. And as you close it, you'll have the cakes. Okay, decided. Let's trim this. I need about 1 inch, maybe a little more than 1 inch, maybe 1.25 inches. by 4. Okay, so 4 by 1.25 inches. I'm just gonna put my remnants to the side. I don't throw away my remnants until I'm done with the project. Because sometimes, you know, if I'm missing something, I can always use those remnants to create more paper by using a mosaic type paper. I can use them to make buttons and other fun things. Okay. Put this on this side. Oh, look, the other side is also pretty. And that's the problem with these papers, you know, I mean, either side is just so gorgeous. That's why I always buy 2 of everything. Okay. And here's the photo mat. Fits right into the pocket. How cute is that? Okay, and where is the piece that we decided to put here? Where is that remnant? Oh, I think I cut it. Did I cut it? I don't know what I did with that. Okay, so we'll do this one. And now we covered the magnet. You can't tell there's a magnet there unless you touch it. And it closes this way, this way, this way. And voila, that's side 1. And now we're going to do the whole thing over again on this side. Exactly the same way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this video. I'm going to just make myself some tea. I'll come back and we will do the second part. And the second part is exactly the same way. So you don't have to sit through the whole thing unless you want to. And or you can just skip to the end and just watch just see the end result. Okay, so this is it. It's been less than 2 hours. I don't know, an hour and maybe and a half to do this. I'm not sure exactly. So when we come back, I'm going to assemble the second part. Right, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye. And how do we close it? Close this and finish.